welcome to the Sunday morning worship service at DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Suzanne Gowdy, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. Unitarian Universalism is a faith tradition committed to creating a just and flourishing world for all people. Our Universalist theology tells us that every person is worthy of love. Thus, when we say, whoever you are, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. This is our message of love to you, inviting your whole self into this space to help us co-create a world centered on our values. We invite you to learn more about us and consider joining this community to enact our values of equity, justice, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. Now, if you are online, I invite you to greet each other through the chat, and if you are present here, I invite you to turn to someone you did not come with and greet them with a wave and a good morning greeting.
We are all flames when we gather hand in hand, our church, our community, our home. We inspire, we celebrate. We come together sharing our light of hope for our shared future.
Good morning. And happy Easter. Welcome to this place of love, this place of communal flourishing. We gather each week to open our hearts, to expand our minds, and to see the sacred within each other. Come, let us worship together.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing hymn number 38, Morning Has Broken.
Fresh Please join me in our mission statement. We gather as an inclusive community to grow in character, mind, and spirit, and to transform the world toward fairness, love, and compassion.
Our vision of beloved community is rooted in the relationships that we have with one another, our world, and creation. Each week we offer the opportunity for joys and sorrows to be shared aloud here from the pulpit. Today's flowers were given by Kay Richards and Mark Ailes in honor of Earth Day, and Mark would welcome questions about the Citizens Climate Lobby if you're looking for a conversation during coffee hour. Jean Atkin shares that Carolyn Atkin, his wife, had knee replacement about 2 weeks ago. She's recovering at home, and she gets therapy twice a week as she bends the new knee. Their daughter has been a big help coming out for 4 or 5 days in the week since Carolyn has been home, and they thank everyone who has sent email or cards or given them meals. Thank you all for showing each other what a beloved community is truly about. Jenny Blair shares this message. This last week and a half has been the worst of my first 15-year career in federal service. Droves of my colleagues, mentors, scientific heroes, and leaders left my agency under a recent deferred resignation program. Almost everyone over 50 took this offer, mostly in an effort to save younger staff from future layoffs, and because they were tired of the turmoil and BS of the last several months. One colleague estimated that this was a loss of 30,000 years of combined experience and untold scientific expertise. I am heartbroken. The agency I grew up in is crumbling before my eyes. Please keep me and my family in your thoughts and prayers as we wade through this chaos and uncertainty. I give my tears and sorrows to this mess, but not my heart and soul. Thank you to this congregation for being a rock upon which I can rest. Oh, Jenny, you are not alone in this at all. Please know that many of our folks are dealing with all of the effects of what the chaos of our current administration is doing to this nation. Whether it's deportations or prisons in other countries, whether it's careless speech from our leaders around autistic and neurodivergent people, this is a place where we honor and recognize the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and we hold everyone who is dealing with the chaos of this moment. We are holding you. I think today is a special day, Steve, don't you?
So we do have a milestone. Back in 1955, Reverend Gene Creeves and about 50 other congregants from the Congregational Church in Lisle split off, and on Easter Sunday in April of 1955, they signed the charter for the DuPage Valley Unitarian Church, which is this church, and that is 70 years ago. So we are now 70 years old as a church.
For 70 years, we have been a beacon of light in this community, and we are laying the foundations for many, many more 70-year anniversaries in the future. Please join me in a moment of meditative prayer.
One of the rights and responsibilities of our church is to dedicate the children who have come into our congregation. This morning, we rejoice and affirm our community covenant with these precious lives. Would Dan and Danielle Scheidt and Jack and Jenny Blair come forward with your children?
The dedication of our children is a three-part promise. First, it is a commitment by parents to guide their children into becoming their flourishing selves by providing a compass for truth and forming the foundations of their faith.
Second, it is a commitment by our congregation to support parents in this good and hard work by sharing our time, talent, and treasure to provide renewal opportunities for them as parents, religious education opportunities for these children, and worship space to develop their faith.
Third, it is a commitment by our congregation to nurture and love these children into a life filled with wonder and wisdom, mercy and justice, compassion, kindness, and love. Together as a community, we promise to support the flourishing of our children. What a great day to live into the responsibility to be alongside them as they grow in their faith. On this Easter, we consider new commitments to making the world a more just place. Danielle and Dan, Jack and Jenny, in asking for the dedication of your children, you are asking for the support of this community as you embark and continue on your journeys together as a family and as parents. For the love of these children, you will be asked at times to sacrifice pleasures, put aside ambitions, and defer dreams. You will need to rely upon your own deepest wisdom and to call on the wisdom of others. This ceremony is the expression of your love and commitment to these children and your acknowledgement that all of you are connected to this community and the greater human community. Do you covenant with this community to raise your children in accordance with the highest truths you know? If so, please say we do.
We will now bless each of our children with a rose. Its beauty expresses our wish that your life will unfold in all its unique splendor. We have drawn the thorns from the roses as a sign of our promise to do all we can to make your way smooth in the years of your tender childhood. This rose has been dipped in the water gathered from the streams of our separate lives, gathered together on Ingathering Sunday in the fall. Your life flows together with the shared life of this church.
Danielle and Dan, what name do you give this child? Violet Eileen Scheidt. Blessed be your mind that you may grow in wisdom. Blessed be your heart that you may know and act in love. Blessed be your hands that you might help others. Blessed be your feet that you might walk the path of justice and liberation all your life. Jack and Jenny, what name do you give this child? Juno Blair. Blessed be your mind that you may grow in wisdom. Blessed be your heart that you may know and act in love. Blessed be your hands, that you might help others. Blessed be your feet, that you might walk the path of liberation and justice all your life. Jack and Jenny, what name do you give this child?
Dax.
Dax Blair. Blessed be your mind, that you may grow in wisdom. Blessed be your heart, that you may know and act in love. Blessed be your hands, that you might help others. Blessed be your feet, that you might walk the path of justice and liberation for all your life. At the 11:30 service, we will be dedicating Annika Elizabeth Miles, child of Jenny and Bob Miles, Sophia Williams, child of Daniel and Tuli Williams. Can we get the other slide, please, Beth? And Max Nelson and Samantha Nelson, children of Vanessa and John Nelson.
I now invite any siblings, godparents, other family, and special friends of these children and parents to stand.
You represent the circles of kinship and friendship that surround these children. In the years ahead, they will look to you for guidance and for a deeper sense of their own identity. They will come to you wanting to know that whatever journeys they take, they will always be a part of your circle. Do you commit to stand with their parents and to help these children know that they are always beloved? If so, please say we do. Thank you. You may be seated.
I now invite all of the children and youth to stand.
Can you stand up? Stand up.
You have an important part to play in these lives. Just as others have taught and loved and protected you, you will be asked to teach and love and protect these children. So I ask you these questions, and you can wait and answer them at the end. Will you teach these children to respect all people as you yourself would wish to be respected? Will you show them how to be fair and kind to others as you yourself would wish to be treated? If you will, please answer yes.
Yes.
Then these children will grow to be your friends and to respect and share with you as they learn.
Would the congregation now rise and join in this act of welcome by reading in unison the words on the wall? We commit
these parents our love and care as they raise the children into adulthood. We promise to tend to your souls, support you in love, nurture your spirit, and care for you in the hard and worthy work of child rearing. We welcome and commit you, dear children, into the community of your church. A place where individuals search your faith, your doubts, your failures, and your accomplishments. We pledge to teach you to embody our Unitarian Universalist values. We pledge to give you the building blocks for your compass that you might flourish.
And now let us rejoice in the abiding love that sustains us all. And may every blessing be with these children and their families and all who care for them and love them. And may this be our wish for every child. May it be so. Thank you. You may be seated. Please rise in body or spirit for our next hymn.
Mother Teresa wrote, "It's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving." Giving of our treasure is how we reciprocate the many gifts we are given by this community. Even in an uncertain world, we have so much to be grateful for. Life itself, our planet, love, and each other. Giving is also how we live our values. Each month, we share offerings with an organization that gives life to these values and makes a difference in the world. The recipient for our April collection is Good Grief Day Camp, nominated by DUUC member Sue Rouse. Good Grief Day Camp is a one-week non-resident camp designed specifically for children ages 6 to 12 who have lost a parent or sibling to death. The camp uses the healing elements of music, theater, art, and nature to help children on their unique grief journey. Their goal is to help children begin the healing process by meeting them wherever they are in their feelings, offering understanding, and helping them express their grief experience and feelings. As we pass our offering plate, know that it is a vessel that connects us to each other through our gratitude and generosity. So give freely your thankfulness and abundance, that our values can forever take hold in our world.
I hear a bird chirping up in the sky. I like to be free like that, spread my wings so high. I see the river flowing, water running by. I like to be that river, see what I might find. I feel the window blowing, slowly changing time. I'd like to be that wind, I'd swirl and shake the sky. I smell the flowers blooming, opening for spring. I'd like to be those flowers, open to everything. snow and the sun. I'd like to be those seasons made up and undone. I taste the living earth, the seeds that grow within. I'd like to be that earth, a home where life begins. I see the moon horizon reaching into night. I'd like to be that moon, unknowing, glowing light. I know the silence as the world begins to wake. I'd like to be that silence as the morning breaks. I hear a bird chirping up in the sky. I'd like to be free like that, spread my wings so high. I see the river flowing, water running by. I'd like to be that river, see what I might find. I feel the wind blowing, slowly changing time. I'd like to be that wind, I'd swirl and shake the sky. I smell the flowers blooming, opening for spring. I'd like to be those flowers open to everything. I'd like to be those flowers open to everything.
I would like to invite our children or the young at heart to come up for a story. Hi, Ella. This is one of my family's favorite stories that I wanted to share with you all today. Miss Rumphius by Barbara Cooney. The pictures are on the wall if you'd like to look at them. The lupine lady lives in a small house overlooking the sea. In between the rocks around her house grow blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. The lupine lady is little and old, but she has not always been that way. I know, she is my great aunt, and she told me so. Once upon a time, she was a little girl named Alice, who lived in a city by the sea. From the front stoop, she could see the wharfs and the bristling masts of tall ships. Many years ago, her grandfather had come to America on a sailing ship. Now, he worked in the shop at the bottom of the house, making figureheads for the prows of ships and carving Indians out of wood to put in front of cigar stores. For Alice's grandfather was an artist. He painted pictures, too, of sailing ships and places across the sea. When he was very busy, Alice helped him put in the skies. In the evening, Alice sat on her grandfather's knee and listened to his stories of faraway places. When he had finished, Alice would say, "When I grow up, I too will go to faraway places. And when I grow old, I too will live beside the sea." "That is all very well," said her grandfather, "but there is a third thing you must do." "What is that?" asked Alice. "You must do something to make the world a more beautiful place," said her grandfather. "All right," said Alice, but she didn't know what that could be. In the meantime, Alice got up and washed her face and ate porridge for breakfast. She went to school and came home and did her homework, and pretty soon she was grown up. Then my great aunt Alice set out to do the 3 things she had told her grandfather she was going to do. She left home and went to live in another city far from the sea and the salt air. There she worked in a library, dusting books and keeping them from getting mixed up and helping people find the ones they wanted. Some of the books told her about faraway places. People called her Miss Rumphius now. Sometimes she went to the conservatory in the middle of the park. When she stepped inside on a wintry day, the warm, moist air wrapped itself around her, and the sweet smell of jasmine filled her nose. "This is almost like a tropical isle," said Miss Rumphius, but not quite. So Miss Rumphius went to a real tropical isle where people kept cockatoos and monkeys as pets. She walked on long beaches picking up beautiful shells. One day she met the Bapa Raja, king of a fishing village. "You must be tired," he said. "Come into my house and rest." So Miss Rumphius went in and met the Bapa Raja's wife. The Bapa Raja himself fetched a green coconut and cut a slice off the top so that Miss Rumphius could drink the coconut water inside. Before she left, the Bapa Raja gave her a beautiful mother of pearl shell on which he had painted a bird of paradise and the words, "You will always remain in my heart." "You will always remain in mine too," said Miss Rumphius. My great aunt, Miss Alice Rumphius, climbed tall mountains where the snow never melted. She went through jungles and across deserts. She saw lions playing and kangaroos jumping, and everywhere she made friends that she would never forget. Finally, she came to the land of the lotus eaters, and there, getting off a camel, she hurt her back. "What a foolish thing to do," said Miss Rumphius. "Well, I've certainly seen faraway places. Maybe it is time to find my place by the sea." And it was, and so she did. From the porch of her new house, Miss Rumphius watched the sun come up. She watched it across the heavens and sparkle on the water, and she saw it in glory in the evening. She started a little garden among the rocks that surrounded her house, and she planted a few flower seeds in the stony ground. Miss Rumphius was almost perfectly happy. "But there's still one more thing to do," she said. "I have to do something to make the world more beautiful." "But what? The world is already pretty nice," she thought, looking out over the ocean. The next spring, Miss Rumphius was not very well. Her back was bothering her again, and she had to stay in bed most of the time. The flowers she had planted the summer before had come up and bloomed in spite of the stony ground. She could see them from her bedroom window, blue and purple and rose-colored. "Lupines," said Miss Rumphius with satisfaction. "I've always loved lupines the best. I wish I could plant more seeds this summer, so that I would still have more flowers next year." But she was not able to. After a hard winter, spring came. Miss Rumphius was feeling much better. Now she could take walks again. One afternoon, she started to go up and over the hill where she had not been in a long time. "I don't believe my eyes," she cried when she got to the top, for there on the other side of the hill was a large patch of purple and blue and rose-colored lupines. "It was the wind," she said in delight. "It was the wind that brought the seeds from my garden here, and the birds must have helped." Then Miss Rumphius had a wonderful idea. She hurried home and got out her seed catalogs. She sent off to the very best seed house for 5 bushels of lupine seed. All that summer, Miss Rumphius, her pockets full of seeds, wandered over fields and headlands sowing lupines. She scattered seeds along the highways and down the country lanes. She flung handfuls of them around the schoolhouse and back of the church. She tossed them into hollows and along stone walls. Her back didn't hurt her anymore at all. Now, some people called her that crazy old lady. The next spring, there were lupines everywhere. Fields and hillsides were covered with blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. They bloomed along the highways and down the lanes. Bright patches lay around the schoolhouse and back of the church. Down in the hollows and along the stone walls grew the most beautiful flowers. Miss Rumphius had done the third and the most difficult thing of all. My great Aunt Alice, Miss Rumphius, is now very old. Her hair is now very white. Every year there are more and more lupines. Now they call her the Lupine Lady. Sometimes my friends stand with me outside her gate, curious to see the old lady who planted the fields of lupines. When she invites us in, they come slowly. They think she's the oldest woman in the world. Often she tells us stories of faraway places. When I grow up, I tell her I will go to faraway places and come home to live by the sea. That is all very well, little Alice, says my aunt, but there's a third thing you must do. What is that, I ask. You must do something to make the world more beautiful. All right, I say, but I don't know what that yet can be. Do you have an idea? It's okay if you don't, but think about it. Let us sing to our children. Thrill each year as the snowdrops, the crocus, the forsythia, and the daffodils appear. Seeing the pop of color in the various hues of brown and gray after winter stirs my heart each year. When I first read Miss Rumphius, I imagined that feeling, that rush of joy, the first one I get in the spring. There's excitement and anticipation for the beauty that I know is coming. As a gardener, my excitement is magnified as I plant my own seeds in my garden. As those tiny gems surface in my yard in the glory of their vibrancy, I can often be found in my garden beds speaking to my radishes, lettuce, and kale, gently encouraging them to grow. And when those first seedlings surface from the rich soil, as they did this week, it's not unusual to hear a squeal of delight from me. I am a spring gal. There is something special about the newness that spring brings. It's as if there's a new opportunity, new possibilities all around, even if I cannot see them. We have no idea when the events of Christian Easter happened. Yet it makes sense that spring was chosen as the season to celebrate a resurrection coming up from the old. The resurrection of a Savior from empire's oppressive forces. A new beginning for those with no hope as the world springs anew with life. It is, after all, kind of hard to imagine a birth in the dead of winter. Even in that hope of a new beginning, with their teacher risen from death to possibility, there's no way that Jesus' followers could begin to imagine that their message of justice and equality with freedom from oppression would travel as far and as wide and as throughout time as it has. There's no way they would have imagined that this message would transform the world. And eventually, irony of ironies, this message would align itself with empire once again to become oppressive itself. I think about this transition from a new beginning of hope to oppression as I think about the story of Miss Rumphius. It's an important thing to make the world a better place. Like the lupines, Miss Rumphius scattered Jesus' message of freedom from oppression is a universal message that brings beauty to the world. It gives hope in the midst of darkness. The world can be better than what we have made it to be. Yet we must also take care to remember that there's more than one way to make the world a better place. When we convince ourselves that there's only one way, we risk narrowing the path of possibility so that only a select few can follow. It would be like Miss Rumphius only planting one color of lupines, or only having crocus each year with no snowdrops, or my garden full of kale with no radishes. It denies the beauty of many paths. It limits the potentialities of our future.
So, Mandy, I can almost feel the warmth of the spring sunshine and see the colors emerging in your garden. There's a sense of hope in the way you describe snowdrops, crocuses, and daffodils poking through the various hues of brown. This is an annual reminder that nature renews itself persistently and beautifully. For me, spring is the anticipation of waiting for what is to come. Now, in my gardens, my hostas and peonies are poking out of the ground. The lilacs and raspberries are showing life again. The leaves of my daylilies along the sidewalk are a foot tall. All this growth means that I must wait and work. I must tend to the ground and make sure the weeds don't take over, and that they're watered during the dry periods before I get to see the beauty of what they may be. Your message makes me think about the work behind the anticipation of how it affects our everyday lives, not just how we look at spring or Easter. Like the first tiny buds that hint at bright blossoms ahead, anticipation can shape our friendships, our work, and our daily routines. It encourages us to stay alert and open-minded, always ready to welcome something new. When something new pops up in your flower garden, you have to decide whether to let it mature or pull it like a weed. But living in anticipation also means handling those times when we have to wait, waiting for the ground to thaw, waiting for the temperature to stabilize above 50 degrees to allow the insects that are overwintering to wake up and move out of my mulch piles. Sometimes change in our personal or community life seems to slow down or stall. During those moments, it's easy to get impatient. Yet anticipation asks us to trust that the seeds we plant, whether in the garden or in our hopes, will sprout in their own time. When we see Jesus' followers struggling to understand the resurrection, we encounter people caught between the excitement for something new and the old habits that are hard to break. Their story reminds us to keep watching and waiting for what's emerging without forcing everything into one single way of thinking. Like a garden with many kinds of bulbs and seeds, our paths to growth come in lots of different forms. We need different colors, shapes, approaches for real renewal to happen. By keeping an open heart that welcomes each tiny shoot of new life, we make space for a season of growth that's open and full of variety, whether in our gardens, our beliefs, or our communities. Letting anticipation guide us reminds us that new life is always preparing to break through just below the surface.
I love your imagery of waiting, Steve. Waiting can be so difficult, especially when we are waiting for something that's exciting, like an Easter egg hunt, or when the waiting is something that we're dreading, or even if the waiting is just simply something unknown. Even in the excitement of all that is happening with the arrival of spring, and most especially the amazing things happening here in our church, there's also a sense of waiting in our world, in our nation, that leaves a pit of dread a bit in our minds and hearts. I suspect that this is what the followers of Jesus felt as they approached Jesus' tomb on Easter morning, a sense of grief and dread for what they'd find. And I don't imagine that an angelic messenger saying that their teacher was resurrected would bring a lot of joy initially, likely more questions and confusion, maybe even weariness and dread in the unknown. In fact, this is the sort of thing I kind of feel every time I pop the news on, a mixed bag of feelings as we wait to understand the full consequences of what our new government will bring us. Waiting in the unknown, as difficult as it is, can also help us to focus on what is important and what brings us joy. When we have to wait for raspberries to ripen, for the eggs to be put out for a hunt, or to tend to weeds when new plants are growing, as impatient as we may be, we are also offering an opportunity to consider how we might use the fruit in new ways. It's an opportunity to find joy in every new leaf. In the unknown, cultivating joy in the beauty and imagining new possibilities is what sustains our life so that we can continue to wait. And when ready, we can move into the next season to embrace what is possible. It feels a bit like a waiting season right now, when there's only so much we can do, like our Justice in Action emails and calls to our elected representatives, showing up at protests or at school board meetings. I am remembering what is ready to cultivate, though, in this waiting moment, because that is not only what brings me joy, but also sustains my faith so that I can continue the hard work of justice and cultivating community. So what's important in the waiting moment that can bring me joy? Well, that's an easy answer. Us, our community, and especially our children. While we wait to know what's going on beyond these walls, we can cultivate the garden of our community. Like Miss Rumphius, the work we do here to care and raise our children centered in love is a gift of beauty to the world, a gift we can craft while waiting, regardless of what is happening out there. And it is needed now more than ever.
I like your naming of the tension in waiting, Mandy. The dread of the unknown alongside the wonder of spring. The ache of uncertainty next to the excitement of what is growing among us. That feels very real right now, in our world and in our hearts. Your imagery of waiting at the tomb, of grief and weariness, even in the face of something as profound as resurrection, mirrors so much of what we carry when we face the news, the unknown, or the consequences of injustice. It reinforces what I said earlier, that waiting isn't passive. It's deeply emotional, deeply spiritual work. And just like in the garden, the work doesn't end with the planting. After the waiting, after the watching and weeding and wondering comes the gathering. And not just gathering for ourselves, but for each other. We harvest what we've nurtured, and when there's more than we need in the moment, we preserve. We find ways to hold on to the goodness, the beauty, the strength of our community, and keep it for the harder seasons to come. And that's what I see in this community too. Even while the world feels uncertain, we are planting something here. We are already tending to the next season, not just with our children, but in how we care for one another, how we show up for justice, how we build our foundations through adult learning, how in our vision we imagine the beauty we want to see in the world. And in that, there's so much joy to be found. Just like with our spiritual or communal efforts, activism, artistry, learning, there's a season for tending and there's a season for gathering. And finally, a time to preserve what's valuable, so that it continues to feed and sustain us through seasons to come. So let's keep doing that work, cultivating, gathering, preserving, because in every seed we plant together, we are not just waiting, we are preparing to bloom.
I like that, preparing to bloom. I don't know what it is we're waiting on, for our government to be fixed or destroyed and begun anew, or for something completely new. No matter what it is, I do know that waiting does not call us to be passive watchers, as Steve reminds us, but attentive participants. We do what we can to nurture the resurrection, the possibilities of love. We nurture our future in our children. We find joy in the present, and we learn from our past. On this Easter Sunday, as we commit to our children, to raise them to flourish, may we prepare to bloom so we might find transformation in our world through love.
Please rise once more in body or in spirit and join us in singing hymn number 269, Lo, the Day of Days is Here.
As we leave this space, let us remember what we can do to make the world a more beautiful place, so that we might bloom and bring forth blooming flowers to our world. May it be so.
After the service at 10:15, there is an Easter egg hunt for the children and youth. So at 10:15 we start that way. People from the second service that are coming early all have a fair chance at 10:15. There are paper bags that the kids can decorate, put their names on for collecting the eggs. That'll be in Creeves Hall. And then I'll let you out to collect the eggs at 10:15. Please join me in the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish the light